have done with it, including going to the state fair.
Oh, man.
Cheer up. This year, your parents will make it right. They're going to visit EnergySavers.gov, where they'll get tips on how to save energy and money. Then they'll add extra insulation and get a few of those Energy Star appliances. They could save hundreds of dollars a year. And you know what, Billy?
What?
They'll take you to the state fair next year.
But I want to go this year.
I know you do, Billy. I know you do. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad
Hello, and
Council.
this is Armstrong Williams on the right side. Don't curse, speak English. Virtuous aside.
Columbia, 620
I dare you to listen.
Hey, turn it up. Hey, Armstrong, get on the right side. Armstrong,
Elevate your mind.
Armstrong,
I'm Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Yo, man, it's your boy KO. And you're tuned into the most conservative of our brothers. Armstrong.
The Armstrong Williams Show. Please give me a break. Grow up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Armstrong Williams Show. Thank you so much for joining us. We're live. It was really, I saw the movie The Help recently, and I really didn't know if I would like the movie or not, but, it was reality. Florence, I must tell you, I actually enjoyed the movie The Help.
Did too.
Did you enjoy
I
it?
really did. I know. I saw it, and it took me forever to see it. I saw it not too long ago. It hasn't even been over a month or so ago, and I really, it started out kind of, light, and then I really got into it, and I'm like, wow, this is heavy. And because I've heard so many people when I was coming up about some of the things that The Help, you had so many what we call domestic employees it was just commonplace that because a lot of, let's say, African-American families more than 20, 30, 40 years ago, a lot of times a wife didn't have a job, she stayed at home. And one of her employment would have been being a domestic house, doing domestic work at the homes of middle class or upper middle class Caucasians.
Help me understand this.
Yeah, the average black woman who was married did that years ago, 40 and 50 years ago.
You say 40 years ago. Many are doing it now. But here's the question I want to raise with you.
Uh-huh.
And that is, how many, and we're going to need our audience to help us on this because this cannot not be the case. How many homes where you have whites who are domesticated for black families, raising their children, taking care of the house, the chores? I refuse to believe that it's only black, especially black women, that work in these homes.
Oh, well, now they don't call it the same thing. It's considered, nannies and things like that. Way back when, when African Americans was doing it, they were considered, the help, or because they had a combination of watching the kids, cooking, and cleaning. They did all three. But now with wealth coming about, you got people doing the same thing, separate people doing some of the same thing. You have one person doing the cooking.
You have one person doing the cooking. You have somebody else doing the cleaning, and you still have somebody else watching the kids. What I like to find out from our listeners is how many situations, and I'm sure there's got to be several, where you have white women who are domesticated in black family homes. They raise their children, they clean, and they're just all purpose in the home. I've been trying to think about about different situations where that exists, and my tongue has become a little tired. Do you know? But I'm sure there are situations where there are white staffers that work in the home for black families, right?
Now it is.
So it does exist.
Well, that exists now because I know several people in that category right now, and who are really wealthy, and they actually have hired not their own race, but people outside their race, or Caucasian, or Hispanics, or what you would call white Latinos, but they are working in that same capacity, and the homes of wealthy people right now. I know of several right now that I could, I would not call the names, but, that they are doing that right now.
Here's the thing that is the issue with me is that society makes it seem as though that is a role exclusively for blacks. I work on Capitol Hill. I work on Capitol Hill. I live on Capitol Hill. So much of my life has been on Capitol Hill. And when Strom Thurmond made it possible for me to come to Washington, and when I would meet him in the Senate dining room for lunch, the staff was 100% black. 100% black. If you go down to the cafeteria, if you're not eating with a senator, a member, the staff is almost 100% black. And I'm just finding.
What is it now?
It's almost still 90%. I was there a couple of weeks ago, and it's 90%. And I'm just trying to figure out whether, because of history, that has become sort of a defined role for certain people.
Now, are you talking about
where people expect that it is blacks that will fulfill those roles?
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. You
Maybe
think it has changed?
Capitol Hill, but basically, what has happened? A lot of the African Americans who was filling that role are educated now, and they have degrees. And so, in a sense, unless they just want to do it because they feel that they love doing it, they can move up to a higher paying position or a white-collar position. So it's because they have become more educated.
Sometimes, Florence, when we talk about that role, people seem to want to cast it into a negative. But in many instances, a lot of these families were well taken care of. Their kids were educated. They got a chance
Not way back when.
Not way back when?
Well, I mean, they could be now because they have no other choice, because the person can walk out if they feel that they're not being treated fairly.
But why would you want? Why
they
would
didn't
you
have any other choice way back then?
But why would you way back then want someone who had a closer bond with your children than you around your kids if they were not educated, sophisticated? Because those are the traits that your kid would pick up on. I mean, it seems to me that
they were not educated. If you notice, even in the help, when she was saying "I is pretty" and everything, the conjugation of verbs, she was teaching. She wasn't educated to the point that she was actually conversing with the child in perfect English. She was not. But what happens, that child is being educated in a different school, whereas if she had her daughter going to a school for African Americans, she did not get the same education. The white child was going to a private school, whereas the maybe the sibling or the daughter or the son of the help was going to another public school, which may not have been up to par with a private school or even with a public white school. So they weren't educated.
Now, some would say, why would you neglect the care of your own young children that were at home to go and take care of somebody else's child? But it's just like any other job. That's what the job required, whether it was 9 to 5.
That was the livelihood.
That was their livelihood.
Livelihood at the time, yes.
And that's how they made ends meet.
Right. And just in so many instances, if African American home were not, let's say middle class, or where the mother did not have to work, the husband depended on that salary because, to put food on the table, to pay the bills or pay the rent. So with her losing a job as a domestic, it would have been a devastation, just like right now if, fast forward to this day and age, if you have two income families and, both of them might be making six figures, they have a certain lifestyle that they are, if they're bringing in close to $250,000 and then one of them lose that salary, even though if they have squandered the money and feeling that the money is going to be there and been overspending and may not have reserves, you're going to see a big impact. All of a sudden, okay, I can't go to the country club. Okay, I cannot get a house pedicured or anything. So, that will happen.
Here's the thing. I remember when Color Purple and Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg were nominated for Oscars, and there were such protests from the NAACP, the Urban League, and civil rights organizations as to they just, and so much so that the chances of them receiving an Oscar were destroyed. I mean, what is the difference between, let's say, a Color Purple and the help? Are we saying that society has advanced and made a lot of progress about these images, which Color Purple was very real, it happened, but they saw it as a terrible portrayal of especially men and the Color Purple as abusive?
Right. And I didn't hear your last statement?
Well, listen, what is the difference? Obviously, you didn't have the abuse and the neutralizing and minimizing the role of men, but does it show the progress that we've made, that there have not been protests? There have been some whispers. Even people protest about Tyler Perry and the kind of images he portrayed.
I know. Yeah, what's that all about?
That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, and because we had I didn't hear that last. We got cut off, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to find out what images are acceptable by these individuals that protest.
Mainstream,
yeah,
or is it images by our own people, or what?
Yeah, what is acceptable? Because
it's really amazing.
It is amazing.
Think about it. I was reading about Diane Carroll, which is she's 77 years old right now, and of course when
hold that point about Diane Carroll. That's the music. We're going to come back. Florence King is our guest. The phone line's open, 733-5620, 1-866-620-6620, www.livestream.com/Armstrong Williams.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com.
I'm working 2 jobs.
There you can find
the
the syndicated column archive.
My kids go to school with your
view
kids.
live streams.
I sit next to you at PTA
and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people.
For years. You know my
From
family
building wealth to foreign policy. Stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
And my family is struggling with hunger.
Anderson
Like
Brothers
you,
Bank,
we
a
believe
family-owned
in
and
this country.
operated establishment
What's
that
hard to
blends
believe
traditional
is in
personal
the land of
service,
milk and
local
honey,
market
how many
awareness, and
hardworking
advanced technology
Americans
to meet
have
the
to
financial
choose
needs of its customers.
between paying
Visit
bills and feeding
abbank.com
their
or
families.
call
This is a problem with a solution.
843-464-6271
Please
to see how they can assist you with your banking
feedingamerica.org
needs.
today. And
Anderson
find your
Brothers
local
Bank,
food bank for
celebrating
ways to help.
75 years of community
Every
banking,
dollar you
the way it
donate
should be.
helps provide
Stability right in your
7 meals
backyard
for
since
those around
1933.
you quietly struggling with hunger.
Hello,
Together,
my name is
we're
Ron
feeding
Moulton.
America.
I'm running as a Republican for the City Council of the nation's capital, a political arena dominated by the Democratic Party. I'm seeking office in Ward 7, overwhelmed by unemployment and poverty. For the first time in decades, we have an opportunity to be elected as the people that need the representation the most are now responding to the principles that will uplift them. For more information about my values and to donate, please visit www.ronmoulton.com.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Florence King is our guest. You were speaking about Diane Carroll as we were going to break. Miss King.
And Julia, and she was raising her own child, and she was a nurse. And my gosh, they thought that was unheard of, and they didn't think that particular segment or program was going to actually make money for the network or be popular. One, they were, even though it was happening 40 years ago, but the media was not bringing that across for African-American woman who was articulate, who had a profession, yet she was a single mother, but raising that child in a nice environment. Now, when you're mentioning you have African Americans who were middle class like that, they definitely embraced that. And they felt, oh, we need more of that because it's more like a positive image. And then, of course, the Cosbys came about. But the mainstream was thinking that that was not realistic because they wasn't seeing that type of images of African American portrayed all the time. So fast forward with the Tyler Perry. We have to get beyond because way back when, I think the same person, John Schaffner, who actually brought her that fame, he also, remember, did Amos and Andy, the same guy. But during Amos and Andy times, we sort of, it was more like exploiting African Americans because we were saying, my God, Amos, he seemed okay, but Andy or whichever one, it was embarrassing. It's almost like people feel Medea is like that right now. But back then, we didn't see any positive images at all of African Americans. But right now, with the Tyler Perry, with the Medea, we should look at that as entertainment. And that we should not be, because we know in reality that African Americans have made inroads in this society, and that you had almost every one out of every 10 or 15 people, African Americans, are doctors and lawyers, and so they should get a chance to be able to laugh at themselves right now. One, not only is it funny, but two, it brings forth a message as well.
Florence King is our guest. Let me switch topics here for a minute. And yes, calls, our phone lines are open. I don't know if you followed the story today about a student shot at this Ohio school, just died. Just tragic. This guy said he was looking straight ahead and saw a gun pointed at a group of 4 guys sitting at a table, and he was able 2 feet away from them. He just fired 2 quick shots at them. He saw one student fall. He saw the others hiding, trying to get cover underneath the table. How is it that these kids continue to take these guns to school and they just shoot these people, kids dead? What is going on? This happens every so often, and it's happening. Where are the parents? How are they getting these guns? Where are they learning to shoot these guns? I'm just baffled by it, Florence.
I know. Some of the, believe it or not, they're finding the guns at home. The parents are usually the owners of the firearms that they're using. I don't know whether the case that happened today, but think about it. A lot of them are exposed to it, and that's part of their environment. And whether it's middle class or inner city, they are exposed to firearms.
The thing about, this kid came from a really broken home, Florence, and he was living with his grandparents. They said he was a quiet kid who was really nice. If you ever got a chance to talk to him, some of the victims used to be friends, but more in middle school and early high school, and they felt he's one of the nicest kids. How could someone miss out on that? This kid was trouble.
I know. And what is happening is just like we had the miseducation of the Negro, it's the miscommunication right now of our children. We're not listening to them. They're not hearing them out, and especially a person who is sort of an introvert and they are not outgoing. A lot of times, yes, it could be their personality, but a lot of times that same person could be young, and when they become a young adult, they're no longer shy and quiet. So they had some stuff going on. So you just can't assume that, okay, this is this person's personality. He's just a quiet person anyway. You know, whoever, whether it's his parents or grandparents, they need to communicate, you know, ask questions. And what happens is they're so readily willing to down them because of something that they might do, whether it's the way they wear the clothes or whatever, instead of just getting into what makes them tick, getting their opinion and respecting it. And you'll be surprised, you know, we as adults, we can dissect a problem. And that problem that they're having could be easily resolved by just communicating with someone who has some wisdom.
For those of you that are just joining the conversation, you're listening to our guest, Florence King. A parent of children who attend Chardon High School in Ohio says the gunman in today's shooting had specific targets and was not shooting randomly. I mean, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives tells us that they were given one handgun from the Ohio high school shooting scene, and 5 kids were shot. 5 kids. The suspect in the shooting of 5 students at this high school turned himself in to bystanders in a township. He turned himself in. They said it was specific. It was calculated. He was targeting these 5 kids. Do you think they were teasing him?
Well, they said, I thought maybe if this is the same one that the gunman was in some kind of property dispute or something.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I don't know whether they took something that belonged to him or something. I don't know what, you know, the property dispute was all about.
But that was somebody's child that died for no reason at all.
I know it, and I mean, not just one person's child.
And you got 5 kids
sad.
injured.
It's just 5 students were shot.
It's just terrible. You know, it seems like we're coming apart at the seams, Florence, where it really matters.
I know. It's you know how they used to have, you know, serial killers, and then all of a sudden you have copycats.
Yes.
And it almost as if, you know, we've been hearing so much disputes with students, and then all of a sudden you get copycats. And I don't know whether it's just human nature, but, you know, this will probably incite another kid doing the same thing.
Yeah, 3 boys and a girl were injured in the shooting. It happened in the high school cafeteria before classes started.
Okay.
You know, we have to really know what our kids are doing. I mean, it's so difficult on parents, especially these grandparents and single-parent household, because you cannot monitor every aspect of that child's movement. You just can't.
That's true. That's true.
And this kid is in custody. The school is
Right.
on lockdown. And there was only one person that was responsible for the shooting.
And that was the kid?
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking of because the other one was another Ohio person, and I was thinking of the gunman who killed 7 people during the weekend rampage in Ohio.
Yeah, and
So
it's
two
all
different. Yeah.
You know, I forgot about that. I mean, there's
Yeah,
another
see,
situation.
that's why I'm saying a copycat, because it happened in Ohio as well.
And you know what? If someone is bent on hurting and destroying lives, there are some things you can do, but you know you may get it right 1,000 times, but all he has to do is get it right once.
That's right. That's right.
A
And just like evil is duplicated, good can be duplicated as well. But kids have to see it.
You know, I think a lot of these kids really have missed the discipline of their parents, of a father. I think it's a further indictment of when you don't have a father in the household.
Yeah, because they don't value life. If you don't have a bond, if you don't know, love is an emotion that you get from your parents, and if you have never felt that emotion, how could you have any feelings when you kill someone?
You don't.
No.
You know what I actually believe, though, and I know we're running out of time here with our guest, Florence King. I really believe this. I think these kids watch so much TV and so many movies that they cannot distinguish between reality and non-reality. They actually think that these people are going to get up and walk again. Let's take a few calls, Florence. Let's go to Robert. Robert, thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hey, also, how you doing?
Just fine.
Florence, how you doing also?
Hi there.
Yeah, y'all bringing some great points about the youth. My thing is, if we really want to talk about a solution, we got to be honest about a lot of things. I don't think as a nation, as a country, as a culture, as people, period, we don't invest into our youth enough. We could talk about the negativity all day, but that fruit had to come from a tree. You know, it's only going to be as ripe as and as good as that tree. So we really got to start really investing into our youth. I mean, I work with youth, and it's not enough investments going into our youth. And until that happens, we're going to continue to have problems.
But invest what? What is it that we need to invest that we're not already investing?
Programs, times. It's not enough, and it's not enough people investing that into our youth. It's not enough, period. I mean, we talk about programs in the inner city and the outer city, and in outside of the inner city. Because we talking. I haven't seen the story that you're actually talking about, but it all go back to the mental part of everything. Like you talk about the kids that don't have parents in the house. That's going to happen. It's not going to be a father in every household, but it's also it's mentoring programs out here that can actually help with that problem. You know,
well,
everybody's
not. That's true, but you know what? I think the mentoring programs should include the parents as well, because think about it. Remember the young lady who actually, the young girl who was in love, 16 years old, and the parents would not allow her to see her boyfriend, and they ended up killing the parents because they wouldn't actually.
Florence, we're out of time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. King. Call us, stay there. We'll be back.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive,
some things you just don't expect,
streams,
like your car door bursting into flames, but that's what's happened in some 2007 Toyotas. Yeah, the feds are examining
From
reports
building wealth
that
to
driver's
foreign
side doors
policy.
have burst
Stay
into
connected with
flames.
Armstrong-Williams and his
2007
colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
They think. Some people like oysters, some people don't, but regardless, the slimy crustaceans can be dangerous. Each year, at least 15 people die from eating infected oysters.
Since
Consumer groups want the
1871,
feds to
the
crack down
NRA
and
has grown
require
as a
Gulf
service
Coast
organization
oystermen
involved in
to
all
be a little
aspects
more
of shooting
careful
sports
about what
and is
they
a proud
haul into their
defender of the
boats.
Bill of Rights.
And guys,
Join
here's
today
some
to begin
cheery
taking
news.
advantage of
Researchers
exclusive
say that
membership
men
offers
with
and
coronary
discounts,
artery
including up to
disease may also be
$25,000
at
in
risk
insurance
of
coverage.
prostate cancer.
Contact the
They say
NRA
the two
today.
conditions may
Call
have a shared cause. So that's just another reason to cut back on fatty
or
food,
visit
cigarettes,
NRA.org.
inactivity, and all that other good stuff.
Elder Chicks
I'm
is an
Stacey Cohen. Learn
exciting
more
part
at
of the fastest-growing segment
consumeraffairs.com.
of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
And we're streaming live at www.livestream.com/Armstrong Williams. Let's go to Jacob. Jacob, you had a comment to make?
Yes. Good evening, Armstrong.
Good afternoon.
I just want to say that, this goes to, conflict resolution and the fact that we're not teaching our children how to deal with their anger. I mean, this same thing happens to a young person every weekend in every major city in this country. But because they're African Americans, it's not a major news story, and nobody's wondering why, and nobody's asking questions about, why this youth shot this other youth when it comes to that. But it goes back to conflict resolution, dealing with these kids' anger, and also the availability of guns. I mean, since this president has been elected, gun sales have tripled in this country. These guns have, higher capacity magazines. They're easy to use, and the bullets that come out of them are more lethal than ever. So it's too late to address the gun issue. There are 300 million people in this country, and there are 300 million guns out there right now in circulation. So you can't get rid of the guns. The only way to control this, or try to control it, is for people, counselors, parents, teachers, to be able to sit down with students and manage their anger, because now it's just too easy.
But what are they angry about, man? I mean, haven't they seen the results of anger? Haven't we had enough examples like what we're talking about for them to at least try to get it right? I mean, angry about what?
I mean, Armstrong, it's bullying. It's this, the online bullying. It's the Facebook bullying. I mean, it's so many ways now that teenagers are being harassed and attacked and talked about, and these kids don't use their hands anymore like we used to when we were younger. You go behind the school, or you meet in the neighborhood somewhere after school, and you fight, and it's over with. But these kids the weapons are so available to them, so easy to get, and and like you said, you combine that with their insensitivity to people being shot and killed due to video games and movies and so on and so forth, that you get into these situations where it's nothing hard for a child to shoot another child nowadays. So, but you gotta catch the situation before it escalates. I mean, hopefully we'll find out what happened with this child and why he did what he did. But a lot of times, these kids know each other. There's bullying going on, things of that nature, and it just escalates out of control, and nobody's paying attention until it's too late.
It's certainly too late for those kids that have been on the other end of this violence and those perpetrating the violence. But
exactly. Let me just say one thing. No matter what those kids might have did to this other child, they didn't deserve to be shot in school like they did. So hopefully it's just the child being disturbed. Hopefully these kids didn't provoke him. But if they did, it still doesn't mean that they deserve to be gunned down like that.
I don't know what any more spending can do. I just don't think. I think there's just a spiritual and a family crisis in this country.
I mean, I agree. I mean, throwing money at the problem isn't going to help solve the problem. It'll get you close, but it won't solve the problem. The only way to solve the problem is for parents and teachers to get together and provide a united front and show these students that the same way they behave at home, they have to behave at school, and the parents don't let these kids off the hook by saying, well, it's the teacher's fault. The teacher doesn't know how to teach, or the teacher, doesn't know how to talk to my child. So we have to stop leveraging our children's self-esteem to the point where they feel like they can do whatever they want, and they're going to either get a reality show out of it or they're going to get away with it. So we as parents and teachers and counselors, everybody around this child that's an adult has to provide a united front to that child and say, look, you're going to behave this way no matter where you are. You're going to present yourself in a proper fashion. And, the things that they do, you can see it online. You can go to these websites. It's out of, some of these kids are out of control.
Don't you think there should be a uniform dress code?
It wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think, to be honest with you, I think probably maybe even K through 7 or 8th grade, maybe they should be separated. Maybe you should have all boys schools and all girls schools, and things of that nature, and uniform dress codes, just so the kids can focus more on their studies and not be distracted by what somebody's wearing or this girl or that boy saying something about them, because we can't get rid of the weapons. There are too many weapons out there, but we got to prevent these kids from thinking that's what they have to do to resolve their problem.
Jacob, it's always good to hear from you. Thank you for your insights, and thank you always for listening to the broadcast.
All right, thank you, Armstrong.
You're welcome. David, you have a comment.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you for asking.
All right. A concern that I have is the picture that we as adults, from the top to the bottom, are painting to the kids in our society. For example, the political things that are going on, the situations that happen over in Afghanistan, and our president apologizes, and yet some of the major contenders for the nomination are protesting against this apologizing. It's like they don't have good guidance even from supposedly responsible adults.
Now, what would make that not be good guidance for someone to protest against the president and his position on the fact of what's going on in Afghanistan? I'm just trying to understand that.
I believe that, I know when I was growing up, I was taught to apologize when I recognized that I've done something wrong, and it seems as if it's wrong nowadays to apologize.
They burn American flags, they pollute these extremists, the Quran, in the name of committing this violence and these suicide bombings, attacks. They kill people for no reason at all. They've desecrated the Bible. In fact, the Iranians in Egypt right now are desecrating and burning the Bible.
But weren't we taught two wrongs doesn't make it right?
I'm not even talking about the two wrongs right now, but I'm just talking about how they can protest in such a sanctimonious way about the burning of the Quran. When it's their example, they do the very same.
I was still taught that, look, it's like I have my morals, I have my standards. I don't have to necessarily look to the public or look to, officials or what have you. In my morals and my upbringing, it's like, no, you do not destroy someone else's holy book. If someone came to my house, because we are in their house, we are in their homeland, and burn my Bible, God would not allow me to hurt them, but it's like we don't do that. We're not supposed to do that, even regardless of what they do.
But that is not their standard, and so it would be one thing to protest if you were standing on some kind of righteous ground. But they have no righteous ground to stand on. So look, I understand both sides. I understand your perspective, and I understand the perspective of not apologizing.
And I think as long as we have attitudes like that, we're going to continue to see things like that we see. Because somewhere along the line, we got to get a grip. I think you'll agree with me on that. We have to get a grip.
Yes, I agree with that. But listen, the bottom line is that we're dealing with people who are, listen, I don't want to, listen, the bottom line is, I agree with you on this point. There's got to be some middle ground. Somebody's got to show leadership and step up to the plate and say, just for the sake of our troops who are exposed to this and are suffering the brunt of this burning of the Quran, as a leader, I'm going to apologize because I don't think an American should die for this cause.
Exactly.
So I can respect that, but I can also understand the other side.
Okay, I appreciate the conversation, Armstrong.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you very much. 733-5620, 1-866-620-6620. I just don't understand. just how and why young people are so violent. I don't think it necessarily reflects their parents. I think it reflects their culture, which they allow themselves to develop and to be influenced by. I just think it's a badge of honor. I think if some kid can bring a gun to the classroom, that kid may be part of a gang. I think it's a kid that parents don't even really know who that kid is anymore. I don't think parents know their own children anymore. And I think in some instances, parents are afraid of their children. And they're so afraid of them, they leave it to somebody else to raise, somebody else to discipline, someone else to counsel. And you don't realize you're walking time bombs. These kids are walking and they're just waiting to explode. And parents are not raising children anymore. They're just not raising them. Kids, I mean, the kinds of things that kids can get away with today, the profane language, the way they talk back and disrespect their parents would have been unheard of. I would have lost a front row of teeth had I even contemplated something like that. I mean, listen, we're not growing these children with any kind of values or any kind of discipline or restraint or any kind of respect. A child has to be a child. Sometimes parents are too busy trying to be their friends. They don't need a friend. They need a parent. They need a mother, and they need a father. And a lot of these parents today raising these kids are children themselves, as reflected in exactly what this society is producing. So are you surprised that the violence is not that we need more money? We need to get people back to what it means to be a family, to raise children, make sacrifices, to be an example for these kids, to discipline these kids when they're wrong. These kids are yearning, they're crying out for somebody to raise them, for somebody to teach them good values, teach them good virtues. They're just not getting it. What do you expect them to become? And then it's reinforced by all this violence that they watch on TV, the violence they see in the classroom. Can you imagine the chaos that ensued when those kids were shot today? We're streaming live, www.livestream.com/Armstrong Williams. Where's the church? Our phone line's open.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Mama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowmama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, it kind of become old hat talking about these same problems over and over. And, you know, society is just coming apart at the seams. It's not getting any better. You know, we kid ourselves. I mean, some families get it right. There's some movements that are made for the better. But for the most part, just something is terribly wrong in our country. It's just terribly wrong. It's pretty frightening. You know, listen, I know many of you see Rick Santorum as a Republican, as a conservative, but many of you should be able to relate to him. I've known Rick Santorum for a long time, and I got to tell you something. He's a decent guy, but I mean, the morals that he speaks of, I'm just surprised that people like the pastors are not front and center on his moral message. I mean, it's not that Rick Santorum should be preaching this message. It's what not only ministers, but it's what parents should be preaching. I mean, listen, you can condemn the things that you don't embrace, but his moral message is an important one. And who else is talking about these social issues and what needs to be done, and that we're in a spiritual crisis? People are saying that he's doing this for votes, but this is what he believes. I mean, listen, we are in crisis. We really are. And we need to embrace people that can embrace principles and belief systems and values that has sustained this world since the beginning of time. I mean, we get so wrapped up, we get so caught up in political candidates and the party affiliation until we lose sight of what people really believe and what they're advocating. But everybody, I mean, you should weigh every candidate that's running for office. You shouldn't dismiss any of them. You should weigh all of them. Something is not working in this country. It does seem as though we're becoming an anti-Christian, anti-religious nation. Anything that deals with religion, anything that deals with faith, people just don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear you talk about it. And yet we continue to go further and further and further into the cesspool of destruction. And we wonder what's wrong. What's wrong is that many of you don't have the courage to stand up and make a stand. You wouldn't tolerate some of this behavior with your own kids, I hope. I bet you teach your kids morals and values and certain codes to live by. Are you kidding me? Because a child reflects, what a child becomes is reflective of the parent. And every parent wants their child to have the best. There is no way you're going to embrace a value system that's going to cripple your children. These children are so fragile, and even when they learn it in the home, when they learn it in the best environment, they still struggle. They do. I speak to many of these kids privately. I mentor them, and I'm telling these kids have a lot of problems that you and I would not think are problems. They're just overwhelmed by life. They have no idea what they want to become. They don't know if they have a career. They don't know if they can make it. They don't know if they can stand on their own. They are afraid. They're afraid with their own faith because they're getting so many mixed messages from their friends, from school, from their parents, from the media. Minister Spry, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. How you doing, Dr. Armstrong?
Oh, I'm just trying to reach out, Reverend Spry, trying to reach out, trying to do my part.
Yeah, we have a slew of problems with, and that's what I do. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. You know,
sounds like you have a little cold, Reverend.
I'm all right.
All right.
I'm just, just wrestling with all of it because that's what I do every day. I work with youth on a day-by-day basis and sometimes hour by hour. And like I said, I got my own organization, Team Spirit. I work with them in the church. I work with them in the schools. I work for the Richland County Sheriff Department as an arbitrator.
Wow. Take us inside. Help us understand what we're missing, Reverend, because you're there.
It's very complicated. It's very complicated. But, number one, the number one teacher is your parents and their environment. But when you look at 60 to 70% of our homes are headed by, single parent, and mostly 80 to 90% is women,
done that role too. I was a single parent for 10.5 years. So, I mean, I can relate some to the struggles of, females having to raise children by themselves. And especially if they're working, if they're working, and trying to make a livable wage, it's a struggle because a lot of these jobs are now swing shifts and 12 hours, especially if they're working in manufacturing. They're gone, 14 hours a day, and to come back home and try to teach your children and prepare a meal, it's really stretching it. And if a child is not on point, and then there goes your environment, the environment usually it's the second teacher, and I think we haven't come to grips with that the environment is your second teacher. First is your parents, second is your environment. And then if the children never go to church, and some children that go to church are raised up in the church and go to Sunday school and church and Bible study, they have issues too, but not as much as those that don't go to church and not brought up in a religious home. And I'm a Christian, so I would say Christian home. And they learn their values. A lot of their values come from the streets, and you know what the streets teach them: it steal, kill, and destroy, and survival of the fittest. It does not necessarily teach you about love. I've been a product of both. I've been in the streets, and I was a product of steal, kill, and destroy when I was young, but I chose to go on the church side because that's where I was raised at, in the church. And a lot of my friends, I lost a lot of my friends to prison, drugs, death, over 20-something to AIDS, family members and friends. And like I said, I buried 27 young people from gang violence right here in Columbia, South Carolina. So it's a struggle being a teen, and I think we don't invest enough into our children, especially, let me say this, and I know I'm going to get a lot of haters on this, especially the church. We do not put enough money, take enough money out of our budgets for teens, for youth, the development of youth. And so, therefore, we use the same old methods, and that's not going to cut it. It's not cutting in education, so definitely it's not going to cut it from the church. And if you go in a lot of the churches, like I do, traveling around the state of South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina, a lot of children don't even attend church. So we got to come up with methods from the church side to attract young people to come to the church and then stay in the church once they get there, not just drop by every now and then. And then we have to do something to attract the parents to parenting classes, because a lot of parents are having children and they don't know what to do with children. Like you said, they're confused. They're just lost. And then from the political side, we have most people in this nation go to public education. And unfortunately, your people, Republicans, are taking money out of public education. And that's why I was kind of shocked when you said something about Santorum, the main person that said that public education was useless. And then he turns around and calls the president worse than Hitler. I mean, come on, Armstrong, why would you even mention this guy's name as somebody we need to look up to?
I mention his name because there are some values that he's advocating that make sense. Stay there, Reverend Sprott. Let me go to Sarah. Sarah, your comment, go ahead.
Armstrong. I just wanted to say, I used to be a correction officer in the state of South Carolina, and I have to tell you, the state take your children away. I don't like to call kids bad. I just say active, when your child is overactive. But looking at the situation in DJJ, the kids are more badder than they are at home. So what they're doing is they're taking the children from your home when they're active there and putting them in a system where they let them run wild and just fill them up, or have the psychiatrist write all kinds of phony notes on the children. It's like a system that's building on top of ignorance.
Wow, that's shocking. And they become worse than what they were in the home.
Yes,
I believe it.
If you knew that, if you know how bad they was, and then you rip the gate down and just take them home.
Keep them home. probably what they're exposed to.
They're making money off of them. What they do, I found out that the government, when your child has problems in school, by the 3rd grade, they send statistics to the government. The government sends funds to your state to imprison your child starting at the 3rd grade, betting that and banking that they will become criminals. So the money is put there in advance when they go to the 3rd grade. So they pass your child along through this system and make this money off of them starting at the 3rd grade.
Pastor, do you hear this? You know it's the truth.
That's sad.
You know what? They're no more than they're just a ching ching ching, a cash register for them.
Yeah, no, it's certain children. We know who those children are. We don't have to say, but you can imagine what. I mean, this is a rotten system. That's all I'm gonna have to say.
Sarah, we're gonna revisit this. We're just warming up. Thank you. We're out of time. Thank you, Florence King. Thank you, Reverend Spry, and all our callers. Thank you, everyone. WGCV 620 AM. I'm Armstrong Williams. We will revisit this topic. Take care, everybody.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Expressed on this broadcast are not necessarily those of WGCV.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sports shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage.
Language in this
Contact
country
the NRA
where
today.
you say
Call
one thing and it automatically gives another thought. I mean, and that's what
visit
they did yesterday.
NRA.org.
Gingrich is using language that is a code language. He knows the code, and he knows who he's talking to, so he knows how to make a point without saying any particular word. That happens all the time, and he's just doing it very effectively. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Okay. It was just interesting. I heard you guys talking about him, and I just thought about the comments I heard from him earlier. He talked about work ethic a lot during the interview.
For more information about my values and donors, please visit www.ronmoulton.com.
Okay, I hear you. Thank
Most
you, man.
Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com. Or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Just strap non-toxic Communicizer to your mouth and go from boring old man speak,
oh, you know, I'm here if you want to talk,
to 100% off the chain.
Text me whenever, yo.
It's that easy.
Thanks to Communicizer, I'm relevant to my kids again. I mean, I'll fly, boo.
And now when you buy Communicizer, you get the auto-tune attachment free. Sounds so hip-hop, your kids will want to talk to you for hours.
I used to have to walk 3 miles uphill to school every morning, short day.
I love you.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Good God! I got to ask you what we need. Soul food. Henry Soul Food. No, we need it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food. No, I like it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food. No, we need it. Soul Food. Henry Soul Food. Hit me.
Home of the sweet potato pie. Even the keenest taste buds will tell you the best food on
on the planet, large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. So get the Henrys at 5431 Indian Head Highway, Oxon Hill, Maryland, or give us a call at 301-749-6856.
Soul food. Henry's soul food. What we need? Soul food. Henry's soul food. Do we want it?
I dare you to listen.
Hey, turn it up. Hey. Armstrong, get on the right side. Armstrong,
elevate your mind.
Armstrong,
I'm Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong. Hey, yo, man, it's your boy K.O. And you're tuned in to the most conservative of our brothers. Armstrong.
The Armstrong Williams Show. Please give me a break. Grow up.
Armstrong. Armstrong.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong-Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
Hello, my name is Ron Moulton. I'm running as a Republican for the City Council in the nation's capital, a political arena dominated by the Democratic Party. I'm seeking office in Ward 7, overwhelmed by unemployment and poverty. For the first time in decades, we have an opportunity to be elected as the people that need the representation the most are now responding to the principles that will uplift them. For more information about my values and to donate, please visit www.ronmoulton.com.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder Chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong-Williams.
Armstrong.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong-Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit NRA.org.
Hello, my name is Ron Moulton. I'm running as a Republican for the City Council in the nation's capital, a political arena dominated by the Democratic Party. I'm seeking office in Ward 7, overwhelmed by unemployment and poverty. For the first time in decades, we have an opportunity to be elected as the people that need the representation the most are now responding to the principles that will uplift them. For more information about my values and to donate, please visit www.ronmoulton.com.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong-Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong-Williams.